Welcome to Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast, the podcast that empowers you to turn your dreams into reality using the law of attraction. I'm your host, Papi DiNuzzo, and together we'll dive into the mindset, strategies, and energy shifts you need to create the life you've always envisioned. Whether it's health, wealth, happiness, love, relationships, or spirituality, inspired by my transformative book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, each episode brings you practical tools, inspiring stories, and bold insights to unlock your limitless potential. Get ready to manifest your greatness, and let's dive in.
Papi has been actively engaging with his fellow brothers and sisters through various initiatives. He's led mastermind classes, facilitated breakout sessions at larger events in New York and New Jersey. He served as a keynote speaker in Florida, and he's even shared his message on several podcasts. But Papi remains committed to spreading his message of hope and positivity to his fellow brothers and sisters in need. So if you're looking for an inspirational speaker, please book Papi to speak to your organization, or book him to speak for free to your nonprofit group that would love to hear his message of hope, inspiration, abundance, and peace of mind. Also, since launching Papi Mindset Coach on social media, Papi's message of inspiration has reached new heights. He's gained over 10,000 subscribers in just a few short months. So if you want to stay updated and help spread his positive and uplifting content, please like, subscribe, or follow Papi Mindset Coach on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, and Facebook. And by sharing his posts, you'll not only promote his message of positivity to his fellow brothers and sisters around the world, but you'll be inspired every day in your newsfeed. So let's go over now to Papi to set the table for us. Good morning, Papi.
Mikey, good morning. Good morning, Suzanne. Thank you to you and Suzanne for putting on such a great show and doing all the important work in the background. Yeah, that's so exciting, Mikey. Before I get started, we started less than 120 days ago with social media, and we crashed through in a good way on the upside, over 10,000 subscribers and followers. And it's just such a good feeling. The feedback we're getting is so good and so strong. And I would just recommend anyone who's listening, follow us on social media. We're on the top 5 major social media channels. And even if you just go through, you get on one of my videos, a lot of them are shorter, 30 seconds, some of them maybe a minute or two. But for 30 seconds to 60 seconds, just listen to one and just scroll through. Listen to 3 or 4 or 5. It's such a break in your day from the news, from regular social media, from conversations with family members and peers, from worrying about the weather, worried about money, worried about relationships, getting frustrated about politicians, whatever it else may be that's coming at your conscious mind that has one job on earth, number one job on earth, to be the shield to protect your subconscious mind. Spend some time on our social media. It's pep talk after pep talk after pep talk, telling you my constant conversations are with the fellow brothers and sisters that you think you have this much ability, and I'm telling you and reminding you of this much ability. You think that everything out external to you, the opportunities you have in life, are this much. I'm telling you over and over again and coaching you and teaching you that your opportunities are this high or higher, just to make a point. So again, please follow us on social media. We're off to a great start. I am very appreciative. I am very thankful, and I'm very, very grateful. So again, thank you, Mike and Suzanne, for putting together such a great show. Namaste, my fellow brothers and sisters. The spirit in me greets the spirit in you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Every day when we wake up, I am so happy and grateful now that today is a magnificent day. Crack of dawn this morning, 5 a.m. this morning. I am so happy and grateful now that today is a magnificent day. I am so happy and grateful now that today is the greatest day of my life. Today is the greatest day of your life. I am so happy and grateful now that I have created my masterpiece today. We always speak in the present. There is no past. There is no future. Everything in this universe happens at a specific moment in time, but only exists at one moment in time in the present. The universe is eternally grounded in the present. Stay in the present at all times. So you start off and you start winning your day by winning your morning. You start to win your morning by how you wake up at the very first moment you wake up. You start winning your day right there and right then at that point in time. Never forget, my fellow brothers and sisters, you're driving down the highway of life. You're in a game of life, and driving down this highway, it comes to a fork in the road. And are you going to take the thought highway or the physical highway? You're going to take the physical highway thinking that this is a 3D world and that is how everything operates. Or are you going to take the 5D highway and realize that you live in a perfect and infinite thought universe? You live in a thought world within a perfect and infinite thought universe. That is the key to your success. That is the secret that I'm here to share with you, and I've devoted the rest of my life to. Again, you are an eternal spiritual being having a limited 3D experience. You are eternal. Your spirit is perfect. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. Your spiritual spark is perfect. You have access to all knowledge and all time, all knowledge and all power of all time within you, within your subconscious mind. You have access to all knowledge and all power of all time. Every one of our fellow 8 billion plus fellow brothers and sisters, you and all of your fellow brothers and sisters have a unique ability. You have something that you can do better than anyone else on earth. The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you figure out why you're born. That's what I'm here for, to help you figure it out, to identify your purpose. When you get in that lane and you're passionate, when you're in your purpose and you're in harmony and alignment and flow with the universe, you'll never work another day in your life. Get in harmony, get in alignment, get in flow, get in your passion, find your purpose. I'm a constant pep talk for every one of my fellow brothers and sisters. You are special beyond your wildest imagination. And that's what I'm here for, to shine universal light, on you, to awaken the untapped creative power that lives within you, that has more power than you can ever imagine in a million years. I recommend reading and or listening to my book, Manifest. Manifest anything you can imagine. I recommend reading and or listening to this book every single day. I have spent 7 decades of my life putting this together. I'm close to completing my online training course. There are 7 decades of my life put in here. Let me help you to collapse this knowledge. The 7 decades that I've spent, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books that I've read, seminars, workshops. This is 7 decades of knowledge that I'm looking to pass on to you, to collapse that as compressed as I can, to have you spend as little time as possible. Not that that's the goal, but that you don't have to spend 7 decades. You don't even have to spend 1 decade. You don't have to spend 5 years reading, studying, learning. I'm delivering this knowledge to you in the most clean executive summary I possibly can. So again, read or listen to at least one page of my book every day. And even if you're playing my book in the background, if it's an audible book, if you like listening to books, even if you think you're passively listening to it, listen to it in the background instead of listening to the radio or something else. Just pay attention to the radio and listen to the words in a lot of these songs. If those words come into your world and you do not cancel or reject those come into your subconscious mind and you don't cancel or reject those, you are the king or the queen, you're the boss, you're the president, you're the CEO of your subconscious mind. And if you give your subconscious mind a suggestion, we call that an auto suggestion, a suggestion from ourselves to ourselves. Or if you allow it to hear a suggestion from any other of your fellow brothers and sisters, if you don't cancel that for your fellow brothers and sisters, if that is an incorrect, bad, uh, invalid suggestion, your subconscious mind immediately says, you're the boss. You want me to hear that? You didn't cancel, reject it. I'm going to start to take action on that. So again, your subconscious mind, you have access to all knowledge and all power of all time. Thank you, Mikey. We're going to be keeping our listeners busy on the presentations. It's been, as some folks know, I have some phrases, popping popcorn. It's just been one group after another after another. Every time I speak, I'm getting invitations from 1, 2, 3, or 4 other groups and other people to speak at their groups. The most recent one I did, and we do these chronologically in order. The most recent one that I did that we had not covered yet was the CEO Collegiate Entrepreneur Organization. It's an organization of about 500 individuals who attended the annual conference. It's actually a global group. Most of them are from the United States of America. These are the super majority are college students. They're in business schools typically, and they are majoring in entrepreneurship, an awful lot of them. So these are future business leaders, even divide in the audience, male and female. Just a wonderful group. It was in the Hilton Convention Center in Tampa, Florida, downtown Tampa. Again, they had 500 members in attendance. And it was just a great group. I did the keynote speech to kick everything off on day one, and then I did a breakout group on day two. So it was just a wonderful day, sharing tons of information. And I remember there was so many students who came up to me at the end, Mikey, and I got great pictures and I shared those on social media. But there was one group that came up, and it was a young woman who was born in Latin America. There was a young black woman who was born in Somalia, and another black woman who was born in, it was either Sudan or Ethiopia in Africa. And how successful they are, and all these other young students. But what stuck out about me, they went to the University of Nebraska, and they said, Papi, we're going to do our best. We want you to come and speak at the University of Nebraska, to come and speak to our business group. So that was a wonderful group that we had. There was one young gentleman that, and he was taller than half. I'm a taller guy. I'm 6'3". He was taller than half of my height, but he was a little bit shorter compared to me. And he came up, Mikey, and he told me, he says, Papi, I was so moved by your presentation. I want to thank you so much. I mean, this just meant so much to me. This was just that first day keynote, Mikey, approximately a 60-minute presentation. And he came up to me and he said, Papi, this meant so much to me, and I'm so grateful for you. He said, I was raised as a Buddhist. I've had like a major spiritual revelation. I keep on evolving spiritually, but this just moved me so much. He said, would you mind if I prayed on you? So he wanted to pray for me. And again, it's this younger gentleman. He's reaching all the way up so he could put his hand on my shoulder. And when he put his hand on my shoulder, I put his hand on his shoulder. We both put our heads down. And he said just the most heartfelt prayer in thanks and appreciation and gratitude. It was so touching and so moving. But it was just, Mikey, young student after young student after young student. And the energy was so good. So it's so good to spend time with our future leaders. Again, that was one of the larger presentations. Again, this was an organization of 500 individuals at their annual global conference. It was, again, at the Hilton Convention Center in downtown Tampa. Just a great group. So there was a lot of love and information shared and knowledge shared and back and forth. And at any of those events, Mikey, like I know you've heard me say before, it's great speaking in front of a large group, and it's even great on the breakout groups whenever you get to go deeper for students, in this case, who want to go a lot deeper on questions and things. But really, the most powerful conversations are the one-on-one conversations in the hallway, and there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of those. So I want to thank Mr. Hertz, Professor Hertz from University of Tampa, for having me and for inviting me in as the keynote speaker at the CEO Collegiate Entrepreneur Organization for their annual conference to be the keynote speaker. It was just a great day, and a lot of love and knowledge and inspiration, hope and inspiration shared all the way around. So I'm very grateful for that.
I can tell how grateful you are, and I highly recommend to go to your social media platforms because you can see those pictures, and I know exactly what picture you're talking about with the gentleman that was praying on you. So what a great job on such successful events. And it really must be so encouraging to you just to be part of such a vibrant and youthful community. I mean, you feed off of each other, and I think that's just great. And you're basically, like you said in your book, just helping them manifest anything they can imagine, and to be a part of that is just, it's huge. And
Yes.
each week, Pappy shares an email featuring two empowering concepts to live by. And his goal is to remind us that repetition is a powerful tool for manifesting positive change in your life. And like he mentioned before earlier, with all the negativity that surrounds us, he just wants to remind us that there is positivity out there, and that we just have to look for it. What we look for is what we see. And one easy place to look for is right there in our inbox, in our emails. So, Pappy, what concepts to live by would you like to share with us today?
Yeah, Mikey, thank you so much for this. And repetition, I just think, because you are so inspiring yourself, and you have a certain way of saying things. And when you say things, all these thoughts come into my mind. But as soon as you said repetition, It just came to me, Mikey, to remind our fellow brothers and sisters that you don't get gummed up about manifesting whenever, because a lot of times when someone is first introduced to this, Mikey, they get excited, then it's sort of overwhelming to them. Or like, man, how am I going to this and that and a third? You don't get overwhelmed. But this is what I teach, but I will hold your hand. And for as long as I'm going to be here on planet Earth, I will hold your hand and teach you and coach you to develop what I call, Mikey, a manifesting lifestyle. So if I meet a fellow, let's say I meet Fred, for example, and Fred I went to high school with or college, and Fred is now 20, 40, 60, 80, or 100 pounds lighter than he was in high school or college. When I see Fred, I say, Fred, congratulations, man. You look so good. This is like the greatest I've ever seen you look. Congratulations. And Fred says, thank you, Papi. That makes me feel really good. Thank you so much. And I'll say, what did you do? And I'll sort of play into it. I know this isn't it, Mikey, but I'll play into it. I'll say, Fred, you look so good. You've dropped so much weight and you're looking so good. What did you do? Did you do something like a grapefruit diet or some kind of exotic diet? I'll just put it out there to play into it. And Fred, I'm using this as a metaphor, says the same thing, Mikey, every time. No, Papi, I didn't use any fad diet. I changed my lifestyle. I changed my lifestyle. And that's what I'm here for, is to get you, to work with you, to teach you and coach you to change your lifestyle. Start taking these bad habits out of your subconscious mind. Let's start planting some good habits in. At the end of the day, this does not take you one extra minute per day to live in a mindset, to live in a mindset, to live in a lifestyle, a manifesting lifestyle that's in harmony, alignment, and flow, in which you can manifest anything you can imagine: health, wealth, happiness, love, spirituality, whatever it may be, by just making some changes so that you can get in a manifesting lifestyle. And that's what I'm here. And it's a lot easier than you can think. Again, Mike, your repetition is so important. And with all the negativity around us, I think, Mikey, the biggest things, and there's a lot of challenges with our fellow brothers and sisters that they present me with, but fear at the very top of the list, worry, doubt. Some of our fellow brothers and sisters, unfortunately, are consumed by this fear, worry, and doubt. I will blow that out of the water. I will blow that out of the water. Fear, worry, and doubt will obliterate it and eliminate it and place you in control, where you're pitching instead of catching. You are done reactively manifesting. You can only manifest in your life proactively, living inside out with you in charge, or reactively living outside in. And I am here. We're going to turn your life around. You're going to start living inside out and proactively manifesting the life of your dreams. Now, Mike, I know the top two concepts to live by that you and Suzanne had sent out. The most two recent ones were, the first one you have is universal intelligence science. So I think universal intelligence science, Mikey, there's a lot of different words. I'll say universal intelligence, universal light, universal subconscious mind, source power, source energy. And again, Mikey, to remind our audience, I never speak regarding religion. I stay neutral as to everything. I stay neutral as to religion, governments, politics, neutral. My marching orders from the universe are to stay as high as possible and stay as neutral as possible. Stay as high as possible and as neutral as possible. And this universal intelligence science, Mikey, ties into the second one that you have today, universal laws, which we'll get to in a second. But there is a universal intelligence science. This universe that we live in is the fairest, most well laid out, largest, most efficient Swiss watch you could ever imagine. I am so happy and grateful now that universal intelligence, universal conscious mind, universal light, source power, source energy created a perfect and infinite universe of universes, all operating under its perfect and infinite universal laws. And these universal laws rule everything. If you're in alignment with them, you can be brought hope and inspiration, abundance and peace of mind over and over and over. If you don't know about these universal laws, and you're not in alignment with them, it'll feel like you're walking into and running into the wind every day of your life, because you're not in harmony with the rules of the game. So, Mikey, you and I and all of our listeners, I call it the game of life. We're all participants in the game of life, and these universal laws are the rules of the game. So universal laws was the next one, Mikey. I just sort of dovetailed right into that. We could think of the law of energy, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of increase. Now, the law of increase, how excited can we get about this? So what do we say, Mikey? What's the pep talk for today? Somebody's thinking about, oh, I'm not feeling too good about myself, whatever else it may be, this and that and the third, having a bad day, stubbed my toe, this went wrong, I thought, or something else, whatever. I'm here to tell you, you are an eternal spiritual being. Eternal. There is no end to your life. You are endless. That's pretty good information, Mikey. I like that one. That makes me feel pretty good. There's no end to your life. For any of our fellow brothers and sisters, you have access to all knowledge and all power of all time within you. That's pretty good information. You have a perfect spirit. You have perfect spiritual DNA, and you have a perfect spiritual spark within you. Pretty good information. You're having a pretty good day. You're having a lot better day than you thought you were having. You have more power within you and access to everything that you want in life more than you can ever imagine. And that's what I'm here for, to teach you and coach you up on the universal intelligence science and universal laws. I think about one of the top ones, Mikey, when I think about the upper stratosphere, so to speak, of universal laws, the law of increase. So here goes some more pep talk information, Mike. And I love the pep talks. So the law of increase, if we can all think, thank goodness, when universal intelligence, source power, source energy created this universe, that it was created under the law of increase. And what I think of that, Mikey, I think of the heartbeat of the universe, what comes through for me all the time. I think bump, 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 just that heartbeat going bump, bump. Now let's think about bump, bump when it stops and we are all under the law of increase, the universal law of increase. What is that bump, bump? When it stops, you can almost think, I don't know, is this heart going to beat again? I mean, that seemed like that was a pretty firm stop there. When we come to that stop, Mikey, what that is with the universe is, that's when you or I or one of our 8 billion fellow brothers and sisters are faced with what we would call in human terms a problem, a challenge, or an obstacle. That's what that is. And that's where we grow, Mikey. We should say, when we run into a problem, challenge, or obstacle, that is good. I'm happy I ran into that, because that is where all the growth comes from. Now, the pep talk here, Mikey, is that the universe has guaranteed me over and over again that the solution to any problem, any challenge, any obstacle that you are faced with is always in that challenge or problem. If you look at it and you study it and you maybe look at it from a different angle, or come from the other side and look at it, come back at it from different angles, that the challenge is, that the solution is in there. And this solution just isn't a little one, Mikey. It's a gold nugget. That's how valuable it is. It's a pure gold nugget. That's how valuable it is. So you start getting excited. Yeah, I got to challenge our problems. That means I'm moving forward. That means I'm improving my life. That means I'm going to the next level. That's how we improve as human beings. We are here on earth to further express, expand, increase, and grow. And this is how we grow. Now, Mikey, we're in looking at these problems and challenges. We start getting excited. This is how I'm going to improve. I'm taking my game to the next level. There's a gold nugget, gold nugget, gold nugget. Whoa. This one, there's a big fat diamond in this problem or challenge whenever I start approaching these from a proper mindset. What is this diamond, Mikey? When we see that, when we look into this problem or challenge, and that is the solution or the answer to that problem or challenge, that diamond represents a quantum leap forward. Not just a big step forward, that golden nugget, big step, big step, big step forward. A giant leap, a quantum leap forward lives within problems or challenges that you're faced with. One last thought I'll leave our audience with on this, Mikey. The universe has guaranteed me time and time and time again, Pappy, there's always a way. And I would just leave that with you today. No matter what you are faced with, there's always a way. There's always a solution. There's always an answer. There's always a way out. There's always a winning strategy, something that you will be deliriously happy with. There's always a way. So that's what I'm here for, to get you to start getting at a different level of your mindset and you start looking at problems and challenges instead of your old human, the way your human would look at this. We're an eternal spiritual being having a temporary physical experience. We're just in our human vessel. You don't want to be running your life. That's your 3D. If you let your human vessel run your life from a 3D perspective and you start saying, I don't have something because that person over there across the street has it. Whatever else it is, I got done dirty here. I got short shifted, whatever else it is. You're coming up with excuses. You're upset all day. You're in fear and worry and doubt. Start living yourself. What I'm teaching and coaching, living your life inside out instead of outside in. Again, every problem or challenge, the solution lies within. That's some of the greatest knowledge I can ever share with any of our brothers and sisters.
That's awesome. And it's comforting to know that the universe and its laws are designed to guide us towards harmony. And just by embracing these laws, we can tap into the power of like manifesting and truly begin to increase and grow, like you said, and to live in a mindset of abundance. Um, and manifest everything that we can and bring our desires to life. Like that's what the universe wants for us. And that's just great. And just as a game has a set of rules, the universe operates on its own set of rules and laws. And Pappy is here to share these valuable mindset coaching tips with us to help us learn how to navigate these rules and the laws that the universe has. Pappy, what are your manifest coaching tips for us today?
Yeah, Mikey, that's so good. When you said the word harmony there, the universe wants us to live in harmony. The universe wants for us anything more than anything else, Mikey, for us to succeed. And the word that the universe uses more than anything else is prosperity, that they want every person, every one of our fellow brothers and sisters on earth. The goal is for all of us to live in prosperity. That's prosperity in health, wealth, happiness, love, spirituality, whatever it may be. There's 8 billion plus different wants and desires what people like. Some people like a certain thing, other people don't care for that at all. We're all uniquely different, but the universe says that we all have the ability, no matter what, to live in what each of us independently to ourselves would define as prosperity, that we have that ability. So the manifesting coaching tip today, Mikey, is intentions. And these are very big. When I think of intentions, Mikey, I think of affirmations. I coach a lot on affirmations. I coach a lot on intentions and also prayers, because the super majority of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey, have some type of spirituality. The super majority of fellow brothers and sisters on planet Earth have some type of spirituality. And in a lot of cases, it even is exhibited through their religion. So a lot of our fellow brothers and sisters are very comfortable praying. So, Mikey, the key here is everything on earth is created twice. First, in your or my mind or one of our fellow brothers and sisters, and then the physical object back of it is completed. So think about when we offer an affirmation, it's just not an affirmation. We're thinking that thought and we're applying emotion to it. When we think the thought in our intentions, we apply emotion to it. When you pray, you're thinking that thought on the screen of your mind. And I strongly recommend for all of these, apply maximum emotion to it. Maximum emotion. Emotion, Mikey, is the secret sauce that makes this happen. When any of us have a thought, when our fellow brothers and sisters listening today, Mikey, have a thought, whatever you're thinking about, there's a firework that goes off in the 5th dimension or above. And when that single firework, when the dust settles and the smoke settles down, you'll see the outline of your thought. It's a new purse, a new wallet, a new car, a new bicycle, a new home, a new promotion, a new job, a new partner, a loved one, whatever you're thinking about, you have a thought and bam, that firework goes off in the 5th dimension or above. Now, if you think that same thought and you apply a lot of emotion to it, now, Mikey, dozens and dozens of fireworks go off. But boom, 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 beautiful, like the 4th of July here in the United States. All these fireworks go off. And when these couple dozen fireworks settle down and the dust and the smoke settles, there's a lot clearer outline of that purse or wallet or car or house or job or promotion or loved one or partner or whatever it is that you're thinking about. So again, it's your thoughts combined with your emotions. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. I say if you can think it in your mind with the emotion of that of a child on Christmas morning, you can hold in your hand with that level of emotion. If you can think it in your mind with the emotion of that of your inner child, with the emotion of that of your inner child, you can hold it in your hand. So, Mikey, the intentions that I'm getting back to, I call these want, expectation, intention. So you'll see sometimes I have an acronym WEI. These are want, intention, expectation, intentions. So, Mikey, I coach TMIE. Now, I used to call these TMITs instead of TMIT, but I changed it from task because I was never crazy about tasks, but I love experiences. So, TMIE is your three most important experiences. So, the movie The Secret, I strongly recommend you watch the movie The Secret from the early 2000s, about 20 years ago. And Rhonda Byrne wrote a phenomenal book. She made a phenomenal movie. I love it. I've watched it numerous times, but there's just a little asterisk. It underplayed action and the action that we need to take as human beings. So in my book, in Manifesting, as you can imagine, I have 2 chapters devoted to action. So, Mikey, right after I started teaching and coaching years and years ago, people would be like, okay, Pappy, action, like, give me an idea. Is it like sort of bigger than a breadbasket, smaller than an elephant? I mean, what does this look like? So I have defined this very, very specifically. I've defined it. And you'll notice when you do your evening review and preview, when you review your day and preview your next day. So think about previewing your next day right now. It's in the evening, let's say 6 or 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, and you're thinking about your day tomorrow. What are your most important experiences? You're going to have 3 probably, typically no more than 6. So that's the first part of our fellow brothers and sisters, Mikey. This isn't like, oh, I've got a dozen or I've got 33 things. No, it's 3 to get this job done. Your 3 most important experiences, TMIE, up to 6, SMIE. So let's say it's 3 or 4, Mike, you've got your big experiences for tomorrow. One is a face-to-face meeting. And again, Mikey, this could be work or business. This could be, if you're a parent, it's a parent-teacher meeting, you meet with one of your students' parents or whatever else it is. You've got a face-to-face meeting. You've got a virtual meeting. You have an email that you have to get out. And let's say you have 4 that day and you've got a phone call. So you got 4 most important experiences the next day. So those are your most important experiences. But what about our experiences, Mikey, throughout our day? We have a lot of experiences. Let's say waking up in the morning and having a winning waking ritual. Because again, Mikey, we want to win our day. And when are the majority of our fellow brothers and sisters' days won or lost? They're won or lost in the AM in the morning. Typically, if our fellow brothers and sisters lose their morning, they're going to end up losing their day. If they win their morning, they'll to end up winning their day. So when do we win our morning? We start winning our morning, right? We wake up in the morning. So there are experiences, Mikey, want, expectation, intentions that we start with the very first thing in the morning. As soon as we wake up, it can be, I recommend having some movement. It does have to be like rigorous exercise, but some type of, it could be like, it could be stretching, yoga. It can be exercise that we're doing just with the weight of your body, push-ups, any type of different things you can do. Get in a little ritual, get your body going, get up in the morning. But you can set an intention that you have a good workout whenever you wake up, that you stretch well when you wake up, that you have a good hygiene session in the morning, getting ready to present yourself to your fellow brothers and sisters, that you have a good gratitude and affirmation session in the morning. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. I guess maybe 30, 60, 90 seconds of some of these, but you are setting your intentions right after you wake up, and today's a magnificent day, the greatest day of your life, that you are setting your intention. My intention is that I have the greatest exercise, and this could be 5 minutes, it could be 3 minutes, whatever it is, but I have the greatest exercise session for my body. Is when I wake up, I want it and I expect it. I want and I expect it. I bless and I thank you. I bless and I thank you. And one of the biggest rules of the universe, Mikey, is we have to ask. And you can't be bashful about this. You have to realize all this power you have within inside of you and let the universe know, I want it and I expect it. And then you say, I bless and I thank you, as if it's already occurred. When we give gratitude, Mikey, when we put gratitude out into the universe, thanks or appreciation or gratitude, in advance of us receiving it physically in our 3D world here, the universe loves that beyond comprehension, that we're showing that confidence that it's already a done deal, which it already is. It's not an if, it's just a when. It's on its way to be delivered. And when you get to that point of confidence, as you know, it's not an if, it's a when, it's on its way. You're well on your way. So what I teach, Mikey, is we set these intentions. Let's say I set a number of intentions on my drive to work this morning. Let's just take a real simple one. I'm driving to work. It's just me by myself. And what's one of my top intentions is my top intention is that I want to have a safe trip and drive safely to work. And I want everyone around me to drive safely and arrive safely as well. That's my intention. I want to come into work and I want to deliver my impression of increase to all of my fellow brothers and sisters and all my team members when I first meet them in the office, that I want to deliver my positive energy to them when I first meet them, that I want to get off to a great start. We tape these shows first thing in the morning, early in the morning with Suzanne and Mikey, that I want to have a great show with Mikey and Suzanne, that I appreciate the work that Mikey put into it. I appreciate the work that Suzanne put into it, that we have great energy and great flow back and forth, that we all hear each other, we all understand each other, we're all on the same frequency. So I set these expectations and I say, I want it and I expect it. I want to expect it. I want it and I expect it. I bless and I thank you. I bless and I thank you. I bless and I thank you. Now, even for these little expectations throughout the day, Mikey, and this could be something we're doing, Mikey, I know you do a ton of volunteer work for charities. This can be the work you're doing. I mean, I know you're very conscientious. You're a wonderful person. You're very thoughtful. When you're doing that job, there may be some things a little bit tougher than others, maybe, because you're on a farm working with like larger animals, much larger than you in some cases, that you want to have a good experience, that you want this to go well for them and well for you and your care for them, etc. We are all here, Mikey, not to go off on a sideways here, but we are all here to improve ourselves, to further express, expand, increase, and grow. We're downloading all day long, Mikey, information. There's pure power and spirit and energy flowing into all of us and coming out of us. We are co-creating with the universe all day long. And Mikey, we're here to cohabitate, not just us human beings. This is going on with animals as well. They're taking in information. Animals are sending out vibrations and sending out frequencies. Trees are taking in information and sending out vibrations and frequencies. We're all part of the universal collective. So again, set your expectations as you go through your day. You're setting your intentions, your want expectations. I want it and I expect it, and I bless and I thank you. Nothing is too small. And when you start to see this positive feedback, you'll be like, holy, mackerel, this like really works. Well, there you go. Now, the last nice thing about this, Mikey, is when we set our intentions, let's say I do this every morning when I drive to work. You never want to think from a scarcity mindset. You always want to be coming from an abundance mindset. So it's not like, oh, I forgot to do my intentions this morning. The nice thing about this, Mikey, is a lot of our actions are repeated, if not every day or every other day, 2, 3, 4 times a week. When you're giving these intentions and putting this out to the universe and telling the universe you want it and expect it, and you bless and thank the universe for it, you're sort of putting money in the piggy bank, Mikey, for future events, for future safe travel to work, for future great experiences with your spouse or your partner, for future great experiences with your children, for future great experiences at work, for future great experience for your health improving beyond your wildest expectation. So these pay forward, Mikey, as well. It's not just now in the moment, but you're paying forward your future for great outcomes, great experiences going forward. I can't impress, Mikey. The last thing on this one is how powerful all of our fellow brothers and sisters are, but you have to ask. You ask, you set your intentions. And again, these specifically mean, Mike, you're more into the intention category. Affirmations are a little different. Prayers are a little different, but set your intentions as you go throughout your day. And you at the beginning will be surprised at how much you control and how great of a life you can have. After a while, you won't be surprised at all. So I'd love to leave that with you, how much you can turn your life around just yourself by setting your intentions as you go throughout your day.
Thank you, Papi. I can't tell you how much that coaching tip is probably one of my favorites because it's so easy to do. Everyone can do it. And setting your intention is such a powerful practice. It has helped me so much. For example, before we tape a webinar, I take some time to myself and I just set my attention and I visualize myself speaking with confidence and clarity and delivering our message effectively and connecting with you, connecting with our listeners, and just setting the stage for success. And anyone can do that. But it doesn't end there either because like once we finish the webinar, I take some time to tell the universe, I am so happy and grateful now that our webinar was successful and that our message of positivity and manifesting was delivered to all of our fellow brothers and sisters. And I know that you also set your affirmations. And I know you have an affirmation you'd like to share with us today. What would you like to share?
Well, Mikey, as always, you're so great at opening doors. I feel compelled to walk through the wonderful door you just opened. If anyone would have known Mikey before we started doing our webinars in plain English, you, average person, would have said, Mikey can never do this, or she wouldn't be good at it, or whatever else have you. I knew she could, but there was some doubt there as far as everything goes. And just take a look at what Mikey's accomplished on this show. She is the perfect person for what she does. She's better at what she does than I could be at what she does. She's so good. She prepares, but this is just an example, Mikey. And I love sharing success stories. Look at what Mikey's done with her intentions, with her affirmations, where she's elevated herself to. She's at a level that no one would have ever thought she would be able to accomplish. And this is all a testament to her manifesting anything she can imagine. And we're giving specific coaching tips on how we did this. And Mikey just shared with you from her own words how powerful and how much success she's had with her intentions, with her affirmations. She's thinking it, she's applying emotions to it, she's positive and she's confident, and she's giving gratitude after the effect. It's just such a wonderful cycle. It's just such a wonderful cycle. So thank you so much, Mikey. I love success stories, and yours is so inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. I love being
Yeah.
an
So
inspiration. So thank you very much. Thank you for being a powerful coach and for showing us how to do all of this. So thank
yes,
you.
that's what I'm here for the rest of my life. Yeah, and the affirmations, Mike, you have queued up for me today. The affirmation we have today: I am so happy and grateful now that I forgive with love anyone who's ever harmed me, intended to harm me in any way, and I release them of myself and my thoughts. I think of this one, Mikey. I've sort of got like a little set that I do when I think of these. I am so happy and grateful now that I forgive anyone who has ever harmed me in any way. I forgive anyone who has ever harmed me in any way or even intended to harm me in any way. I forgive anyone who has ever harmed me or intended to harm me in any way. I forgive them, and I forgive them with love, and I forgive myself with love. And most importantly, I release them, and I release them. I release them, and I release myself from my thoughts. So let it go, Mikey. So many of our fellow brothers and sisters are holding on to things from 5 years ago, 10, 20, 50 years ago. I just heard somebody the other day talking about an experience they had gone through in grade school 50 years ago. You control your future. You control your present. You have all power and all knowledge of all time. Let it go. Forgive and forget. Forgive your brothers and sisters. Bless and thank them and let it go. One of the biggest things, Mikey, that comes at our conscious mind that individuals have a hard time with, Pappy, you don't know, everyone, it was so rough growing up and this and that, and I was giving a presentation, Mikey, I've done a number of them now for attendees for Tony Robbins conferences. Tony Robbins is phenomenal at getting individuals to take action. And one talk that Tony gave was, he said that, people are saying how rough I have and everything else. And he said the word that they use all the time is, oh, I come from I had a dysfunctional upbringing. I was raised dysfunctionally. This sucked, that sucked. At the end of the day, from a paraphrase, what Tony said was, the super majority of people were saying, this was dysfunctional. My upbringing was dysfunctional. It sucked. This was bad. That was bad. What can we say about it, Mikey? Whoever raised us, whoever it was, we need to go through the whole list of who it may or may not have been. Whoever raised us, parents, grandparents, stepmom, stepdad, aunts, uncles, whoever it was, they did the best they could. They did the best they could. Mikey, I get people tell me all the time, Pappy, you don't understand. My dad was a raging alcoholic. I mean, he did the best he could. I'm not condoning that, or I'm not saying that was okay, but that's what that person was. And they did the best they could in that horrible state. And what the universe wants us to see, Mikey, is that there's only the present. Now, one last thing here, Mikey, without going too deep today. you knew this for this example I'm giving right now, Mikey, when you came here to earth, you knew this. You knew it. And in most cases, you said when you came here, I want this challenge. I want this challenge. I want to look this challenge in the eye and I want to succeed in spite of this challenge from the way I was raised. That's what you said because you knew that you had all knowledge and all power of all time when you came here. You knew this ahead of time. Your higher self knew this ahead of time. So get in a quiet room, do a little bit of meditating, let this come through to you, however it will. You are in control. You knew this. Excuse my French, Mikey, but you, all of our fellow 8 billion plus fellow brothers and sisters, are a lot more of a badass than you think you are. You have access to all knowledge and all power of all time. When you're tough challenges in life that you're facing, you knew this ahead of time. And you said, I want that challenge because I'm going to beat that challenge down. I'm going to succeed at it. I'm going to plow it over. I didn't. I screwed up in a previous life and I didn't clear this karma, but I'm going to do it now. That's how confident you were. Get back to that place. These aren't surprises. You knew this ahead of time. You have all knowledge. Again, any challenge, any problem, any obstacle you're faced with, you have a guarantee from the universe that a solution, an answer, and a way forward with a smile on your face lies within. So thank you so much, Mikey. That we went a little far afield on an affirmation, but that was a very powerful one. So thank you for that one.
No, it is. It is so important to be able to forgive others, but it's more important to forgive them with love because that's truly when you can release yourself and you get yourself out of that scarcity mindset. Because once you're in that hole, it's just so hard to come out of. So it's just so powerful to remind yourself to do that.
Forgive them
Um,
with love. Yeah, Mikey, forgive them with love and bless and thank them. If you can get to that point, Mikey, you totally diffuse this. This doesn't trigger you anymore. It doesn't put you in a bad place. You're not living inside out. You will be amazed at how good you feel and how much that you're in control. It will radically and completely change your life, Mikey. It will turn your life upside down the greatest way you could ever imagine.
Absolutely. And like you said, we already know we can do it. It's just a
Yeah,
matter of doing it. So it's already the universe already has that confidence in us that we can actually do that.
yeah.
Um So we've come to the part of the show where some of our listeners have questions for Pappy. So you can go to our website and click on the link at the top. It says Ask Pappy and submit your question to him. And today's, I don't know how many we'll have time for, but today the first question is, what role does visualization play in manifesting?
Yeah, Mikey, as always, yeah, you load up some great questions. So let's do two of them today, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Um, the first one says, what role does visualization play in manifesting? Visualization is one of the most powerful tools in the manifesting process is visualizing it. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. When you think it in your mind, Mikey, you're projecting it on the screen, like the movie screen of your mind. And that's what starts the manifestation process to bring this into form. So visualization is so powerful and visualizing, not just visualizing, but visualizing with emotion. And again, emotion is energy in motion. Energy in motion creates vibrations. Vibrations create frequencies. That's how we communicate with all of our fellow brothers and sisters. So if you think it in your mind like a snapshot and apply emotion to it, that really starts the process. If you can think it in your mind, Mike, and visualize and get in a zone, some of our fellow brothers and sisters like being in or around water. It could be, there's one woman that I teach and coach who is in this zone when she runs her sweeper, like her vacuum sweeper on the floor. Some fellow brothers and sisters, it's dancing, it's playing an instrument. It can be meditating. It can be exercising. For me, I know I've said before, when I'm on the treadmill and I have my goggles on, all the lights are out and my goggles are on for sort of like blinders, and I'm just going at a steady pace, like a night, not too brisk of a pace, but a good pace as far as walking on the treadmill. And bam, I get into my zone and I'm visualizing with emotion. So if you visualize and think of it like a short film, that's going to be better. If you can visualize and have more time, visualize on the screen of your mind and have more time. And I say visualize and apply emotion to it at a length, then that turns into like a full length movie. So if you can do that even for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, typically when I do my treadmill work, Mikey, I'll do 45 minutes, and it's typically, and it's no coincidence, but it's usually between 45 minutes or up to an hour and 11 minutes. I have just some sort of chill music I listen to with no words in it. And it's just got like a steady beat to it. And it gets me in the zone. I'm on the treadmill, pure dark, pitch dark. And I'm visualizing, applying emotions. And I'm visualizing, Mikey, health. What do I want for health? What do I want for wealth? What do I want for happiness? What do I want for love? What do I want for spirituality? I'm thinking about all these key areas of my life. Visualize and apply emotion. That is a direct ticket to manifesting anything you can imagine. The second one, Mikey, I see you have up, how important are your emotions in the manifestation process? So we've already talked about this one, Mikey, on a couple of the previous questions. I talked about the fireworks and, one firework for the thought, dozens of fireworks for the emotions. I just mentioned emotions again. You will not manifest anything you can imagine if you do not apply you will not proactively manifest anything you can imagine if you do not apply positive emotions to this process. Emotions are what raise your vibration, and your raised vibrations put out the raised frequencies. And you want to hold your cell phone when you're making this call for another individual, a partner, a loved one, assets, resources, situations. You're going to want to hold your cell phone as high as possible, put out the highest vibration, highest frequency to have that delivered onto you, the greatest answer. You never want to take your cell phone and put it down the floor by your feet and attract to you through low vibration, low frequency, the worst answer, worst solution, worst resource, worst situation, worst partner, whatever else it may be. You always want to apply the highest, cleanest emotions to this in a manifestation process. And again, the two keys to manifesting are your thoughts, and then the secret sauce is applying your emotions. So how important are emotions? They're in a tie for number one in this entire process, Mikey, applying your emotions to the manifestation process.
Thank you. Great answers to both those questions. I appreciate that. Pappy, your book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine, is available on Audible, or you can actually purchase a physical copy of it on Amazon as well. And for me, both forms has its benefits. The Audible book, you can listen to it in the car, or like you said, when you're on the treadmill or in the background. And the physical copy has its benefits because you can flip to a specific chapter. You can read a meaningful quote. You can underline it, highlight it, dog ear it, whatever you need to do so that when you want to, you can quickly go back and find a really great, inspiring quote from the book. So, what quote would you like to share today from the book?
Yeah, Mikey, thank you so much. You've got a great quote queued up here from chapter 2 in my book, Manifest Anything You Can Imagine. This quote is very short. Sometimes my quote's a little longer. This one's a nice, short, and sweet. The secret that Andrew Carnegie described and detailed to Napoleon Hill in Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, is the law of attraction. That is the secret that Andrew Carnegie described to Napoleon Hill, Mikey. The genealogy, so to speak, of where I'm at and how I got here. Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie shared this information with Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill took on a young gentleman by the name of Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale got a little bit older, hired a young gentleman to come work with him by the name of Bob Proctor. And all the blocking and tackling I learned from Bob. And most of it actually, although I took a ton of classes with Bob, with Proctor Gallagher, I was actually in Bob's inner circle class when he passed away a few years ago. There was maybe like a dozen people in that class, but that's the blocking and tackling. But this is the genealogy as far as the table of humanity. My goals and desires are very, very well in alignment with Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was getting up in age, and he told me, and we could talk. You'll understand this later once you get to understand me. But there's communication with myself and Andrew Carnegie like hundreds of times, and because we both believe in the same thing, helping our fellow brothers and sisters and teaching them to manifest the life of their dreams. And he had a panic attack. He said when he was getting older that he had accumulated in today's dollars a net worth of $400 billion in today's dollars. And he said he also knew other billionaires who had manifested through the law of attraction, their $1 billion as well. He said there was no books on it. They're not teaching it in college. You never read about it in a newspaper. Nobody's giving seminars on it or anything. So he said, I'm going to devote the rest of my life to getting this word out. So he interviewed a couple dozen authors, writers, and he settled on Napoleon Hill. So how powerful is this, Mikey? Andrew Carnegie came over from Scotland with just a shirt on his back, became the largest steel mill magnate, one of the top handful of entrepreneurs in the history of the United States. He takes the same information, gives it to Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, I have the book here somewhere, Mike. Napoleon Hill writes Think and Grow Rich. This book, with the knowledge that Andrew Carnegie gave him, over 100 million of our fellow brothers and sisters have purchased this book. Over 300 million of our fellow brothers and sisters have read this book. And this book is credited with creating more millionaires than any other book ever written. How powerful is it? He shares that with Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale had a phenomenal career. Earl shared it with Bob Proctor after he hired Bob Proctor. Bob had a phenomenal life, a phenomenal career. And now I'm here and I say, Mikey, from like the baton or torch being handed off, you know me, I attempt to remain as neutral and humble at all time. Mikey, I hope there's dozens of other people that want this torch handed off to them, that want this baton handed off to them. I hope there's hundreds. I hope there's thousands. I hope there's a ton of people who want to devote the rest of their lives to helping their fellow brothers and sisters by shining universal light on them and awakening the untapped creative power that's within our fellow brothers and sisters. Because the universe says, Mikey, that well less than 5%, maybe 2, 3, 4% of all of our fellow brothers and sisters on planet Earth understand this and are applying it properly and are living their life inside out and proactively manifesting the life of their dreams and getting what they want. So that's what I'm here for, Mikey, to help the other 95, 96, 97% of our fellow brothers and sisters, many of which you've never even heard of it. So that's a big part. I talk about manifesting, if you can imagine, what it is, how it works, and then finally, where the rubber meets the road, how to do it. Those are the coaching tips. So, Mikey, thank you so much for a great show. Thank you so much for queuing me up. You and Suzanne do a phenomenal job and always make me look very good because of how great of a job and all the time and effort both of you put into putting the show. And again, everything's won in the background in life, in the preparation, and the preparation, Mikey, that you do, and Suzanne is second to none. So I want to thank both of you. Namaste. I'm very grateful for both of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Pappy. Thank you for sharing your message with us today. We pack a lot into like this webinar that we have here. We talked about forgiveness, setting our intentions. So thank you. You share a lot with us. If you are new to Pappy Mindset Coach, be sure that you're signed up on pappymindsetcoach.com to receive Pappy's free educational emails and get access to upcoming live events conducted by Pappy to help you manifest the health, wealth, and happiness of your dreams. And one additional reminder to remember to like, subscribe, and share Pappy Mindset Coach on all of your social media links. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
That's a wrap for this episode of Manifest Anything You Can Imagine podcast. Keep those dreams big and your mindset unstoppable. Take one step today toward the life you're manifesting because you can create anything you imagine. If you can think it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Visit pappymindsetcoach.com for more resources and follow us at Pappy Mindset Coach on social platforms for daily inspiration. If you love this episode, share it with someone ready to transform their life. Until next time, stay focused, stay positive, and keep on manifesting your best life. See you soon.